Well, the cars are getting ready to go out for the 3B race here at Anglesey in the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship. Ivan Leary, car 25, on pole position. The track is drying out slowly, the sun is out, but there are still some damp parts out there. So it's going to make overtaking exciting to watch. To take you through the race, it's over to our commentary team.
So our third and final Group B race of the weekend here at the Toy Crease Circuit in Anglesey should give us plenty of thrills and spills action. From the front of the grid, it is Ivan Leary and Steve Foden, Callum Greatrex and Ali Bray on the second row. From Ollie Graham, Adrian Burge, Clive Chisnell and Paul Hughes. Just rounding out the top 10, it is going to be Nick Ledoyen and Bruce Carter. From Matthew Pollard and Sam Riley, Graham Rumsey and Bryn Griffiths. Daniel Denham and Chris Ginn come next. And then on row 9, it is going to be Dale Whiteman and Richard Bartlett. From Bruce Robinson, Stephen Bartlett and Neil McGregor will be the last one in. So this is going to be a close one. All of the drivers know what's at stake. Obviously, after that second Group B race, it's been pretty slippery. But with the likes of Leary, Foden, Callum Greatrex, Ali Bray and Oliver Graham all out to finish their weekends on a high, this one should be a tough one. Here we go. So a good start from the front end of the field. Ali Bray trying to move his way forward. A terrible start for Ivan Leary as they go through the first couple of corners in a very difficult squabble. And on the first lap, it's going to be a tough one as the drivers make their way through. Oh, spin from Adrian Burge. And somehow everybody's missed him. My goodness, that was a tough one on the first lap. But Adrian Burge managed to get away with that. Whoa, that's really got his heart pumping as Stephen Foden is now there in front of Ali Bray as they battle away for the victory. Ivan Leary's already had a couple of punts and he's a long way down. Matt Pollard and Nick Ledoyen haven't exactly had great starts either. They've dropped a long way down as Bruce Robinson makes his way up the inside of Graham Rumsey. They're going to go door to door. The sun's starting to come out here at Toy Crease as that is the 35. Battling away with Bryn Griffiths. That's Paul Hughes. Pollard up the inside of Griffiths to take the place. And as they drop down the hill once again, this is going to get quite interesting for the leaders as Chisnell gets onto the tail of Ollie Graham. Oliver Graham trying to get himself further up and finish on a high. That's a battle between the leaders. I just saw Bray and Foden going side by side for the lead of the B group. Now as they come through once again, this is going to get particularly interesting. Unfortunately, we've lost our camera position down at the banking, which is why we're having to chop and change a little bit. Chisnell on the back end of Ollie Graham trying to make his movement. And that is Ali Bray. Number 76 now leads the way. That's the car that was driven by Hector Hurst last time out at Silverstone. Here at Anglesey, it is all about Ali Bray, and he's fighting back from his spin in the A group to lead in fantastic style here. He's having a great run already. So second place, already going well for the man who's battling with him, Steve Foden. He's had a few thrills and spills of his own today. So Bray, Foden and Callum Greatrex at the front end of the field. And these three could well disappear and control the race from the front. But there's going to be some great action behind. And that's definitely going to be close quarter stuff as they continue on. Out of that final turn. I'm loving that skyline as they go over the start-finish line there. You can see the sea as they come through out of the back end of the circuit. That's Chisnell now in front of Oliver Graham. So they're making good while the sun shines because it is starting to break through a little bit now. And they're getting the benefit of it as they come up the hill, up towards Rocket. In through the hairpin. Well, Chisnell trying to hang on in front of Graham and start to close in on our top three drivers. So Chisnell and Graham still dueling away pretty consistently. Chisnell gets a little bit of a twitch out of the hairpin. Ivan Leary behind them in sixth place, by the way. As again, Chisnell is having to work very hard on the defence, this time to keep Oliver Graham at bay. So they drop out of Peel, down the crest, up towards the left-hander at Siemens, and then into the final chicane at Rocket. Rocket's the other side of the circuit. That's what this weekend is doing to me. I'm full of cold, I'm full of flu, and my voice is going like mad, as you can hear. But through the bus stop is what I meant to say. It's all got to us, the weather. It's really started to take a toll. But fortunately, the Group Bs are still having a great tussle. Graham, there in front of Clive Chisnell as they go down the back straight. Getting their way up the hill into that second section of the circuit as they come up towards Rocket. So into the hairpin. That's good covering there from Graham on the inside of Chisnell, just trying to hold him at bay. Some really good racing as they come through into the hairpin once again. He's trying to put the power down uphill out of that hairpin is very, very difficult, especially when the circuit is quite greasy. As we've had some rain, but the sun is starting to dry out the circuit to some extent. The 24, Ollie Graham, is there in 4th position, trying to shake off Clive Chisnall in the hope that he's going to get a little bit more out of this race. Ivan Leary right there in 6th position behind him, still giving us some good entertainment as they run in behind. Now a little bit further in, that is a good battle going on elsewhere. That is the race battle between Paul Hughes, the 35, who is having a nice little tussle on the way up to Rocket as he tucks in behind Ivan Leary. I think in there as well for the battle, that's got to be, I'm trying to see who that is, I think that might be Sam Riley, the 64, who's in that little mixture as well. As Matt Pollard closes right up on the 35. So the 35 of Paul Hughes, who's clearly got himself what used to be known as the number 3. So he's having a good little tussle there, the number 35, Paul Hughes, as he makes his way around the circuit. It is Sam Riley who's tussling away with Ivan Leary at the moment. So they drop down the hill, through the crest, and in through that final turn, as Clive Chisnall tries to cut across on Leary and Paul Hughes without losing the place. Chisnall, Leary, Pollard. Matt Pollard's got a good run on Ivan Leary this time as they go down the back straight. He's going to get a good opportunity as he goes up the inside. Is Leary going to leave him enough space? Not a lot, but enough. Pollard's got to keep his foot in. There's not a lot of room. Ivan Leary's going to keep the door firmly shut. Pollard on the grass as he tries to come through. And Leary is run wide there. Well, I think personally that was a little bit of 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, as Leary was shutting the door firmly on Matt Pollard there. There was nowhere really for Matt Pollard to go. He wanted to commit to the move, so Pollard ended up on the grass and Leary ended up wide. So I'm afraid that was a little bit of tit for tat between those two. I think you want to put them into a room and sort out their differences with 2 pairs of boxing gloves. So down through the right-hander at the bus stop and into the final turn. Clive Chisnall still desperately trying to hang on in front of Pollard as they battle away for position now. There is Greatrex on the back of the 77 of Stephen Foden. This is for 2nd position. Still out front is Ali Bray. Greatrex has got a good run. Foden's going to need to play the defensive card pretty hard here. He's going to get a lot of interest from Greatrex down to the braking zone for Rocket. In through the left-hander, up to the hairpin. Patience, Callum. Stephen's got to be very, very much the pace setter through here. Back on the power. Callum Greatrex can read the situation. Potentially make his lunge into Peel if he comes from far enough back and makes a good move, but he's too far behind at this point. He's going to need to wait for another good run out of the banking and up towards Church. And then he can set up the move for the left-hander at Rocket. This is a nice little tussle. Oops, that's the 64 of Sam Riley. Going to battle there with the 90 of Bruce Robinson. He's made a good comeback drive, actually, from 19th place on the grid. Bruce Robinson charging his way forward and making up for lost time, but Sam Riley there, the 64, driving with abandon as he continues to push his way forward. Foden versus Greatrex, take 2. Now this time Greatrex looks like he's got an even better run on Foden, but the problem is he's not close enough yet. So he's just going to basically get to the top of the hill and it'll be stalemate between these two as they continue to push forward. But Greatrex is not going to be able to get the move he wants on the 77 of Foden. Foden protects that inside line. Perfectly legal, no problem at all with that. They go through the hairpin together. Back up on the power. Foden protects. Greatrex is closer than he was before, but he's still not going to throw it up the inside. There's a long way to go in this race yet. So he's got plenty of time to make those moments come. Down the drop, into the left-hander at Siemens. And then tucking down through the bus stop, into the right, into the left. Oh, Sam Riley's got a good run this time. Sam Riley on the inside of the 45 of Rumsey to hang on. Careful, Sam. Goodness me. That was close. And Sam Riley, the back end all over the place. And now he's got to try and get that rhythm back before Graham Rumsey and Adrian Burge get back past him. But that was a good run there from Sam Riley. Adrian Burge on the run here, on the back of the 45 of Graham Rumsey. Rumsey's still hanging on in there, but watch out because here we've got another battler in behind, up to Rocket. Adrian Burge trying to protect. Rumsey's in front and up the inside. Here comes the 75, making the bid. That is going to be an interesting move if Bruce Carter can finish it off. Adrian Burge runs wide and Carter's going to get there. Carter up the inside and makes the move there. And now his next target is Graham Rumsey. Bruce Carter definitely getting the good run there from Church. That was perseverance and determination from Bruce Carter that saw him able to get past Burge there. So they drop down once again into the bus stop. And I have to say, this is a really good drive from Bruce Carter. Really started to make a name for himself in Group B, which is great stuff. He's earned his plaudits here. So up towards Rocket. Here comes the battle once again. This is the 35 of Paul Hughes as he tussles now in front of Clive Chisnell. So Paul Hughes has made great progress in this encounter. They started together on the fourth row, of course, those two. Then it's Leary, then it's Nick Ledoyen. So the number 35, Paul Hughes, still trying to keep Clive Chisnell at bay. This is not going to be easy, he knows that. Down the hill once again. Chisnell's going to draw alongside Hughes, but he's going to have to go the long way round into Siemens. So he drops back, waits for the inevitable mistake if it's going to happen. It's not, because Hughes is a very wily fox. He's not going to make that kind of move. He just takes it nicely and easily through the final turn. I think Chisnell was being a bit naive there if he genuinely thought that the man in front of him was going to make the mistake. Leary still hanging on in there in front of Nick Ledoyen. He has to go a little bit wider to stop that move from happening. Back at the banking and up the run to the Church corner once again. Leary moving across and across and across. He's a little bit cheeky with his defensive moves, isn't he? Up the inside goes Nick Ledoyen. Leary keeps the car around the outside in the hope that he's moved too much for Nick Ledoyen to cope with. Ledoyen is going to try and pin him for a change. Ivan Leary is still there. To the left. Nick is going to defend. Keeps the move. Ivan Leary is going to continue to keep that car to the inside line, but Nick Ledoyen moves across. Perfect. That's brilliant defending. Nick Ledoyen makes the move back on Ivan Leary, gets the move, and then Ivan Leary is going to have to try another trick. You can see that that front bumper's already had a bit of a panel bashing over the course of the weekend. He needs to be very careful about how he continues on, but a good battle between those two. Nick Ledoyen very affirmative, and Ivan Leary a little bit forceful, but he knew exactly how to get the job done there to try and keep him at bay. Different drivers have different ideas of these sorts of things, and Ivan Leary doing nothing illegal, but certainly very, very forceful. Stephen Foden keeping his way in front of Callum Greatrex as these two continue to battle, but they're being caught rapidly by Oliver Graham. So second place is definitely not tied up yet. They're going to have to do some homework if they want to keep this going. Greatrex keeps pushing, keeps that pace up. Oh, and Greatrex is on the grass. So Foden is on his own now. Where's Greatrex gone? There he is. He's dropped back quite a few car lengths as a result of going wide there at Church, and surely that's going to give Ollie Graham a run at Callum Greatrex for third position. So let's have a look and see how it's gone. Well, that's Foden. So Steve Foden is now away and clear in second behind Ali Bray. But what I want to see is what's happened behind them. Well, Greatrex is still there, and Graham is fourth, but he's not close enough yet to challenge for position. So it's reasonably good, but at the moment it's still not quite where he wants to be. So it's Bray leading, Foden second, Greatrex third, and Graham in fourth. Now they're approaching a back marker or two. That looks to me like Richard Bartlett, so Richard gets right out of the way. No problem at all there. Thanks, Richard. Ever the sportsman, always going to do the right thing. And the leaders are just going to continue to march their way through in these final couple of laps around the Toy Crease circuit. There's Foden. Greatrex still trying to charge after him, still trying to close in. Graham is there in fourth position in the hope that he can make a little bit more ground. But I think out in front, this is all academic for Ali Bray, who has pulled a good 15 seconds clear of these guys. Absolutely amazing speed. His lap times have been phenomenal. His best has been a 1:27. What has it been? A 1:27.0, I think it is. Yeah, 1:27.0. A couple of laps ago he did that. As we get into the closing stages of this race, Greatrex still trying to pin down an opportunity to close up on the man in front, Steve Foden. But we're on lap 13 at the moment, so there is very little time to settle this as Steve Foden continues to hang on here in front of Callum Greatrex. They duel for second place. If either of these two come off, then the man who's waiting in the wings is right behind them now, Oliver Graham. You can see him right there. So he definitely wants to get this done if he gets an opportunity himself. So he will tussle for position. He'll make sure of that. But there's going to be some really exciting duelling on this last lap around the Anglesey circuit of the weekend for the Mazda MX-5s. They've been absolutely perfect throughout. Great racing, great battling. Out in front though, there's the man in the lead on the last lap. Ali Bray just taking things nicely in his stride. He's going to close up on Dale Whiteman and lap him on his last lap as well. But it's been blustery, windy, wet, humid, very, very difficult. And the drivers have had all sorts of tough races and battles to cope with. But this man out front, Ali Bray, is going to finish his third B Group race on a very big high. Simon Orange won the first B Group race of the weekend. Then Lewis Cannon got the second. And now it's going to be Ali Bray to finish off and make it 3 different Group B winners in 3 races. It's not quite where he wanted to be, considering he had the pace to run in the top 10 of the A Group. It was only that first lap incident on the second A Group race that hammered his weekend and put him in the B Group in the first place. But he's showing here for the AB Motorsport team that he had the pace to run with the big boys, and he's going to finish off on a high, and he'll take some silverware as a result. He drops down the hill up towards Siemens for the last time. It's not where he wanted to be, but it is the result he wanted to get this weekend. He wanted a win. It would have been the A Group, but not the B Group he would challenge for. Oh, brilliant battle on the last lap, as we got these 3 still battling away for second place. Bray's going to take the victory. He's already crossed the line, but now we've got Foden, Greatrex and Graham to the line. Graham might get one last chance in the final turn. The checkered flag's already out for Bray. Foden across, and there they go. But Greatrex just getting third in front of Ollie Graham. 5th place for Matthew Pollard. Paul Hughes in a fine 6th place. Chisnell, Ledoyen, Ivan Leary and Bryn Griffiths round out the top 10. In 11th place it is Stephen Bartlett in front of Neil McGregor, Bruce Carter, Graham Rumsey, Sam Riley, Adrian Burge, Bruce Robinson and Dan Denham all on the leading lap. Whiteman and Bartlett a lap down. Chris Ginn, the only retiree, but a fantastic third and final race win of the weekend goes to Ali Bray.
Ali, that was a pretty dominant victory there.
Yeah, no, it was all right. Race earlier didn't go to plan, as I'm sure everyone saw. Bit of controversy, but lads have done great to get the car sorted. That's by far the best the car's felt all weekend. We were praying for rain. Would have loved to have been in that A race earlier. That
was some close racing there in the last half of that 3B race. How do you withstand the pressure from the guys behind?
It was actually a real struggle, that race. You know, we went out on kind of wet tyres with a semi-dry setup, and we thought, you know, is the track going to dry quickly? The sun came out, and I was really struggling with understeer towards the end of the race. And Callum, he really made me work for this place. There was a couple of points where I thought he was seriously just going to come past me on the straight, and I just managed to keep my cool really and keep him behind me.
Callum, congratulations on your 3rd place. Looked like there was a couple of opportunities you had there to get second, but you weren't quite able to pull it off.
No, I just couldn't get past him. He was defending too well. I caught him on the straight a few times, but it just wasn't enough. He was defending really well and he had really good pace, so I just couldn't get past him.